How the heck does Chris Cuomo know details to Nolan Xavier Wells' state-ran autopsy and toxicology report before Nolan's parents? And let me make this crystal clear. Chris knows details of the state-ran autopsy, not the second independent autopsy, the state autopsy. How is this possible? And y'all have the nerve to say that we should trust the system and the authorities? It's clearly fully corrupt and has leaks. And speaking of people who we cannot trust, I can now fully confirm with 1,000% authenticity that former Officer Tatum is a full-on coward. And speaking of former Officer Coward, he sat down with the boys again for a second interview. And surprise, surprise, it was the same thing from the first interview. Them trying to get us to feel sorry for them. If Tatum and these boys put half the amount of energy as they put into these stupid interviews to finding what happened to Nolan Xavier Wells, this case would have been solved 3 weeks ago. Newsflash, y'all still have your life and Nolan doesn't. Nobody feels sorry for you. Mo sat down with Bart's lawyer, Russell Latino. This is where he, I think, accidentally leaks information that he has access to Nolan Xavier Wells' autopsy and toxicology report. Now, we'll get to that in a moment. However, I would like to just backtrack and let you guys know the ridiculousness that happened during this interview leading up to the revelation that Chris Cuomo has access to Nolan's state-ran sealed autopsy. Sealed. But Chris has access. Okay. I'm going to play a couple of clips for you. We're going to start off with the lawyer, Russell Latino, addressing the CETO call. And Chris says, the lawyer says, a version gets released by MDMS. It's not clear that is the original version.
That conversation from the sweetened audio, which sounds terrible, sounds like there's blaming and about Nolan waking up, and Nolan may well be there by the nature of this conversation. What is your position on the veracity of that sweetened audio?
That audio gets released by the Mississippi Department of Marine Resources. A version of it, it's not clear that that was the original audio.
Excuse me, Mr. Latino, are you now questioning the authorities in Mississippi? Because when we do it, it's defamation. But now you're going to tell us the audio put out by the officials at MDMS, you are questioning if it's original?
Guys, if I don't laugh, I will cry. This is the mafia. Somebody is running a mafia cult down there in Mississippi, guys. I'm convinced. Nolan's case is a mafia playbook. We got Trump's legal representatives, people that eat with Trump, they are involved in this case. For people that are not guilty.
I think there are things that I know that the average person doesn't know that are not points of speculation. One, that they found now, and again, this could cut 3 different ways. They found evidence of water in tissue and cavities consistent with drowning. However, the body was also floating in the water and could have collected water. You could shoot me. I fall in the water. I could have water become the equivalent of ingested. Not that often, but it happens. In the stomach, yeah, a little bit. Depends on the condition of the epiglottis. The lungs, more common because there are more entryways that can get to it. The second is, okay, so there was water in there and he was drowned, but he had help drowning. And that the third possibility is that there was water there, but it is not conclusive. I am being told it is consistent with drowning. What that means investigatively is still open to interpretation. You've heard the same.
Yeah, so
there is no suggestion of gross injury. I thank you for the clarification. I do not mean to suggest otherwise. I'm saying that what I have been told, that there is evidence consistent with drowning, doesn't mean that he drowned necessarily, or that the drowning was the cause of death, or the water in there was the cause of death. I'm just being open-minded because that is the most practical way to be. Also, the headline information, not surprising to me, is that he was there drinking. He was seen drinking. He was known to enjoy drinking, and that's what was going on at Horn Island. You can feel any way you want about it, but it is, as a matter of fact, what the situation was about. So the toxicology early on shows a significant level of blood alcohol, the BAC level, as they call it in the body. You have also heard that. Am I correct, counsel?
I'm going to wait till the pathologist puts out the report, and I'm going to wait till the district attorney puts out the evidence that they have. What I will say,
what's safe to say is you cannot contradict me at this point.
What I will say is that I think when all of the evidence is presented, it will be overwhelming, and that it will be overwhelmingly clear from witnesses, forensic evidence, pictures, videos, that what my client has said is true.
Warren, Jax, and Morgan, y'all in danger, girl. Because why would your lawyers go on Nancy Grace and say this?
I think these are actions of three boys who, one, keep their story straight, two, don't snitch on each other, and three, have made and had to have made to defend themselves.
Y'all heard him say, keep your story straight and not snitching in a case like this. Y'all need some new lawyers ASAP.
And I know slowly but surely, everybody is getting to a point of, this is no regular case. Ladies and gentlemen, I remember when I started covering this Nolan Wells case, I wanted to believe that, there was no race involved. Even the entire case, like maybe black people are delusional, they're just taking it too far. I wanted to believe so much in it was just an incident that happened to the friends. Even when I saw so many black creators come on the internet and say, if you are not guilty, like you might just as well just come and say, hey, Nolan's mom, you see, this is what happened, it was a mistake, and you cry your life away, and you understand what I mean? But then when the boys lawyered up immediately, now we entered into the situation of Nolan's phone being hidden away from his parents, taken away from him, and then and then fast forward, we getting the boys and they're coming into Rage Bates, Tatum's podcast, and then slowly but surely, common sense came back into me. And I got to realize, ladies and gentlemen, Nolan's case is a mafia playbook. Well orchestrated. It's like an initiation of the Illuminati. Every single day when we get new information, I'm like, there is no way people can work together to make a case disappear like this. And now we're here. We got lawyers. On top of lawyering up in the beginning, we got lawyers that even eat with Trump on this case. Whoa. But then, even if you want so badly to believe that it can't be that much of a big deal, we all remember the autopsy. We waited for Mississippi to give us the autopsy. Recently, Mississippi came out and they said, we have an autopsy from the chief medical examiner. But that autopsy was never read out to the people. But you see something that has kicked common sense back into me? Is the fact that some people know the results of the autopsy. They come and say a little bit. But Ben Crumb doesn't have it. The people don't have it. It's supposed to be a grand jury. Everybody's supposed to know. Mississippi is not declaring. But the legal representatives of these boys, they already have the results. Heck, I bet you TMZ got the results from Mississippi. So in other words, Nolan's autopsy results are being given to the people that are supposed to be protecting the boys. And you see, when that clicked in, I was like, whoa, wait, we need to relax, guys. Wait, what? Don't you find that suspicious, by the way? Everybody that's on the side of the boys, I bet you Officer Tatum has seen that autopsy. I bet you Reg Bates has seen the results. The people, Mississippi, the people that are on the side of the... So, the autopsy results for Nolan Wells are being used against him and his family? Because the bits of the information from the autopsy of Mississippi is being given to people that are defending the boys? Guys, if I don't laugh, I will cry. This is the mafia. Somebody is running a mafia cult down there in Mississippi, guys. I'm convinced. Mississippi don't play. This is a mafia game. Baby, let me tell you. Now, another thing that creeped me out. We see these two white lawyers. And guys, the emphasis is not about their race. That just came out of my mouth. They're representing the boys. They're representing the boys apart from that black boy. That black boy? Y'all remember that black boy, Nolan's friend? No one is protecting that boy. This is why I kept on saying he's just a DEI hire. In this entire situation, he is a DEI hire. It's the same thing with that coach that they gave us. He was just a DEI hire. Because why did they not bring the actual coach of Nolan? They gave us the assistant. Trying to pinpoint and put a black person in your face 24/7. DEI hires. Yeah, I will say it. They were used as decoys. And that black boy, in this entire situation, everybody's lawyering up and they are being protected. That boy has no protection. Every time they're talking about protecting themselves, they single him out. Which tells me that boy is indeed just a decoy. Used to play the game. They were using Officer Tatum. He's not even involved in the case, that black boy. But being fixed here and there. Meanwhile, they discard him when it comes to protection. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a mafia game. And I don't want to lie to you. Mississippi right now, you are playing a mafia game. Red pill, green pill. Yeah, that's the level that we are on right now. You want to tell me the entire world, because it's not the United States of America only, babe. The entire world is waiting for the autopsy results from the chief medical examiner. And the information is being dropped to these people that are supposed to defend the boys. Okay. You just slapped some sense into my head. Wait, oh, my bad. I thought innocent. Oh my God. Not that they were innocent. I was like, no, the mistakes can happen. Oh, baby, it's a syndicate in the streets in Mississippi. Huh?
Yeah, to you and Tyler. I'm not saying they have lied, and I'm not saying they haven't lied. I don't know. I have no reason to disbelieve your clients or to believe them. Just because somebody tells you the sky is blue does not mean the sky is blue. You do know that, right?
Well, I can tell you this: they were off Horn Island at 4:30 p.m. on July 4th, and Nolan Wells was seen alive.
Now we're getting somewhere. How can you prove that to me other than them telling you? I assume you've got GPS tracking and the call to CTO?
We have witnesses, among other things, but I can also tell you this: they were off the island at 4:30 p.m., and Nolan Wells was seen alive by multiple people at 6 p.m., still on the island.
Tyler.
Yes.
The witnesses that came forward, here's something that would tend to corroborate them, is if multiple witnesses said the same thing. Witnesses separated in time and space, witnesses that are not all friends, witnesses that are not good friends with your clients, that may have a reason to be fuzzy on the time. I'm not saying they are or that they're not. Here's my question to you. Are these witnesses friends of your clients?
I don't think they're friends, and they're not even the same age.
Okay. Next question. How many witnesses place him there on the island at 6-ish?
At least 2 that I know.
2. Do the witnesses know each other?
Yes.
Were they together that day?
Yes.
All right, but that's not the end of it. I'll say this again. If you lied, you won't be able to hide. If you lied, you won't be able to hide. And you're going to be held accountable. And if you lied, about these fine young men, these good Ocean Springs people, you're going to be held accountable. You're going to be sued. I tell you, there are going to be lawsuits because we have already identified some of the worst offenders. And it may have felt good for them in the moment, instant gratification, sugar high. They got their sugar high, but long after that sugar high wears off, they're going to find themselves in court, and it's going to be excruciatingly painful. The only thing I can say about that is it won't be quite as painful as what they did to Morgan.
Doing lawsuits against them.
I'm so glad you asked that question, because I can answer that question definitively and unequivocally. Anybody who sues Jax, Warren, or Morgan, they're going to end up paying our attorney's fees. Guaranteed. Any lawsuit, and I'm going to warn anyone right now, anybody who is thinking for 1 second about suing these fine young men, these good Ocean Springs people, you're going to pay their attorney's fees. You're going to lose. You're going to get annihilated. You're going to get crushed. You have nothing. And here's the beauty of it. We know you have nothing because we actually have the evidence. We know what happened. And I'll just say it like this. We have a pair of aces and you have 2-7 off.
The woman who has been exposing all of those who might be involved in Nolan Wells's murder. Yeah, fam. Well, she's now having a life threat. Oh, ever since she drove around and showed all those cameras. They got cameras on buildings, cameras on businesses, cameras on homes, cameras on the docks, cameras everywhere. So basically, this woman right here, Just Bree, is saying that ain't no way they could not have footage. If that is a such thing as an investigation, it's impossible for them not to have footage of what happened to Nolan Wells. Impossible. It's impossible. She drove around Ocean Springs and she located several cameras all over the place. There's cameras everywhere, which a lot of us suspected in the first place. We said, man, there's cameras everywhere. Hell, even where you live at, you can't go anywhere without being watched. They got a camera everywhere. They're watching everything. So it's impossible to have all those cameras out there and nothing be recorded. Nothing. It's almost akin to police officers, 5-6 police officers pulling up and they end up killing somebody, but none of them had their body cameras on. Think about what I just said. So she going hard. I mean, salute, salute, salute. In fact, let me give her the proper salute. Breathe. I ain't got no problem with that. Yeah, she putting in the work, man. She giving them that work. Yeah, she's Just Bree on TikTok. Now, I was on her TikTok page and I saw some disturbing messages that people were leaving. And these appear to be fans of hers. Now, they could be bots, because the bots are at work overtime. But it appears to be fans, but this is what they wrote. One person said, you need to be safe. Someone probably already reported you to the authorities. So please be careful.